wonder whether the film industry is as bad as the structures there, or it's doing better than the structures we have there. So, what would you say the current state of Ghana's film industry looks like?
There's a lot of the production houses right now are not telling those stories. They're telling the, again, it's my opinion, they're telling the Western stories from an African perspective.
The film industry went terribly down, but from, maybe I'm being biased, but from the inception of the authority, things are gradually improving.
Anytime you go outside West Africa, the East Africans think all of us are Nigerians.
We have a long way to go, but we are getting there.
There are projects that I know are coming up that will definitely blow people's minds.
Alright, so guys, welcome to the ABC show. Albert and Michelle, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, so for Michelle, we've dealt before.
Yes.
Yeah, would have brought in Albert, but then things didn't go well, so I look forward to us having that guest come on again.
Yes.
Alright. Albert, let me start with you.
Sure.
I'll ask what really got you into the space in which you are, what you do, and how you got into the space.
Okay. So my name is Albert Sapon, General Manager at Cinema 57. What got me into the space? So I have a bit of a background in production. I used to do video editing and videography a couple of years ago.
Okay.
I paused that and went into full-time events. But I had a friend who had shipped down these mobile cinema equipment.
Okay.
And it got to a point they didn't know what to do with it, so they wanted to sell. I convinced them to sell to me. I didn't have a plan at the time, but all I knew is I had a number of filmmaker friends who were looking for opportunities as well to exhibit and showcase their stuff. But yeah, so then came Cinema 57.
Okay.
We like to call ourselves an alternative cinema. We like to say we have the biggest outdoor cinema screens in the country. And yes, our aim is just to take cinema to the people. Just as simple as that.
All right. So would you say that the way you grew up shaped you going into productions, editing, video editing and all that, and finally you find yourself as an entrepreneur working in the space?
In a way, I think I've always loved film. One of the earliest films I remember watching is A Few Good Men. Yes, it's a 1992 film. And the reason that stood out to me was because that movie kind of shaped my life from like age 7 to like senior secondary. Because I wanted to be a lawyer because of that film. I picked my courses because of that film and everything. I think when I got to like final year secondary school, I just started asking myself like, why has this film like kind of shaped my life? And I realized it wasn't the film, but it was the way the film was made that kind of made me want to be like the characters in it, and I shaped a lot. And I came to realize that a lot of movies do that. In fact, one thing I came to learn was even like, and this is appropriate to mention right now, but Nazi Germany used film as propaganda to make the Germans believe that Hitler and his cause was like genuine. Yeah. Right? America does the same. Yeah. They've convinced the entire world that they're number one through film and media. Yeah. So that's the thing that stuck out to me with film. And like we were talking about before, there are like a lot of really amazing filmmakers who have like really genuine stories to tell. There are stories that haven't been told that need to be told. But what happens when these stories have been produced into film? Who gets to see it? Who gets to take this to the people who are not in the cities that have access to film, right? And yeah, that's where we come in.
That's great. When you spoke about how film tends to shape us, anytime we go outside West Africa, the East Africans think all of us are Nigerians. All they know us for is your movies and nines, your movies like various characters. So I can understand where. For Michelle, I mean, for you, I've been in class with for like 2 years. Yeah, and I've heard you talk about movies, films, production, and everything that relates to that for at least 2 years. What got you into that space?
I would say chance.
Okay.
I had to grow my interest in that space because I realized that my thinking knowledge was very limited to just what I see on the screen. I realized or understood that there were a lot more things that happen outside it. It's more like police. You only think that the police is the person that arrests people, but they are accountants, they are finance people, they are business development people, administrators. Same thing with film.
Okay.
So basically, we are the regulators in charge of the audiovisual sector, and I work with the business development department. So I look for opportunities for not just the authority, but also filmmakers and then the industry.
All right. So anytime I drive past Dawa, where the Ghana, is it a film school?
NAFTI.
Not NAFTI.
Oh, right,
it was supposed to be more of our Gollywood on the Adan Street.
Yes, I know that
it's
one.
in shambles. It never came up.
Yeah.
I wonder whether the film industry is as bad as the structures there, or it's doing better than the structures we have there. So what would you say the current state of Ghana's film industry looks like, coming from the authorities' point of view?
I think that currently, I could say that there's still a lot of room for improvement, but we've come a long way. The film industry went terribly down, but maybe I'm being biased, but from the inception of the authority, things are gradually improving. We have a long way to go, but we are getting there. So currently, it's doing better than last year.
When you say it's doing better than last year, what are some of the things that you can pinpoint and say, okay, ABC is doing better than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Right. So it's the start of education in the sector. The authority does a lot of stakeholder engagement to educate them of, one, what they are doing, what the authority has to offer, and then also some opportunities they can get apart from where they sit. When it comes to opportunities, education, opportunities with partnership, both locally and internationally, and so on and so forth.
All right. Albert, with you being an entrepreneur in this space as well, what is your own assessment of our movie industry?
I think it's getting better. I think there's a lot of hope. There are like amazing filmmakers out there doing like really amazing things. There are projects that I know are coming up that would definitely blow people's minds. There are lots of people, filmmakers who lived in the diaspora who have learned a lot from there and are trying to bring that down here as well. And there are initiatives that are being put in place to ensure that there's the right support and funding. In fact, there's a project that I'm a part of called the Africa Arts Development Fund, which is looking forward to creating the opportunities for filmmakers to get the right support. So definitely, it's going to get better than it was. Yeah, right. I have a lot of hope for the future.
All right. So with this day and then technology, everything now. So I think the Nigerians are doing more of Facebook, is it YouTubing, a bit of pay to view?
Yes.
How do we, you don't see that happening a lot in Ghana. How do we use technology to grow this sector or this industry? Because for me, I believe that the value chain of the movie industry is really long and everybody stands to benefit.
Yeah. First of all, I think it will be very unfair to Ghana to even start comparing us to Nigeria. The size gap is too huge, right? We're too small to make that comparison. Secondly, I think those technologies already exist here, but it might not be as huge as it is in other parts of Africa or even in West Africa, right? Things like the cinema are still very important and very relevant in the industry. Pay to view,
yes, basically.
Video on demand, all that is catching up. Maybe not to like the larger population. Hopefully we're able to get to a point where technology and data reaches all parts of the country. But until then, the major cities have access to these things already. So yeah, I think we're there. It's just a matter of scaling up to reach the rest of the country. Yeah.
You want to touch on that?
Yeah, basically, if you, it's simple, something as simple as even Snapchat. When I see my friends on Snapchat, they are on some pay-to-view channels, and you see that it's not just 1, 2. There are a lot more people that have access to it. Like you said, if internet access is able to reach even the tiniest village, a lot of these things are going to spread. These technologies are available. If I want to even use an example of, say, Silverbed has improved greatly. They even now have an app, and that is an improvement in technology. So there are a lot of things that also the authority is trying to open up and have these filmmakers and these places have access to, and events that we do, some of the stakeholder engagements and some of these incentives and things that we are trying to bring. These things are going to open up the space even more, even with technology.
How is the NFA supporting local filmmakers, producers, and exhibitors like Albert?
So in terms of support, we have different avenues. For instance, one of the best way I can think of is through our events. The last event that we did, the Ghana Cinema Week that we do every December, where we showcase Ghanaian films in cinemas. Basically, that is to revive the love for Ghanaian films in the local in Ghanaians. So this we are supporting filmmakers by taking their films and then showing it or showcasing it to Ghanaians, making it accessible to them, making it also accessible. So there are some people that do not have direct contact to these cinemas. We are giving you that direct contact to the cinemas. Also, we are giving you direct contact to the audience. And we are giving you a platform to show your film or your works. There's also another event we have. It's a summit called the Africa Cinema Summit, where we don't just, it's not a local summit, it's an international summit. We have people from across the world coming. These are the supports we are giving, opportunities for you to meet these people that you rarely meet on a normal day, or you have to struggle to meet them, but we are helping you get access to these people. We are also opening up Ghana to the world with these events that we are doing. So now some of these companies or film-related companies are getting to know of the film space in Ghana, and these are some of the supports we're giving them.
So Albert, what you do you just exhibit movies in Accra, or you have other activities going on in other regions as well?
Yeah. So one of the things we're trying to do is to build community cinemas. So that's one of the things that are lacking. So that thing I spoke about like access to film in other rural areas, right? Someone was to make a film today, like a very dope Ghanaian film. Let's say for instance like an Nkrumah film, right? Powerful, inspirational, and you only get to screen it at Silverbed for 2-3 weeks, and then it's done. We're trying to be able to help or bridge that gap between the filmmakers and their audiences by being able to take the films all over the country if possible. Our equipment are mobile, so that gives us like a really big advantage in that. So we're trying to make sure to create these pockets of cinemas all over the country. Yeah.
When you talk about exhibitions, do you just do movies, or there are other audiovisuals that you exhibit as well? So
because of the nature of the equipment, it's really up to your imagination. Honestly, we've had clients who have used it for outreach programs. We actually work with a church every December. They go to villages to use it to preach the gospel. People have used it just to run ads. Right, so it's really up to your imagination, honestly.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm from the behavior change space where I know we do movie vans and all that for have either animations, short dramas to just change behavior. So when you speak about exhibitions, I just can imagine how people react to it when you go outside Accra.
Yeah, the feedback is always amazing. We did an event in Hull 2 years ago. They didn't want us to leave because they were like, they've never seen anything like it before. 2, there's nothing like that exists in that part of the country, and they really want us to just establish something there. Right, so we know the opportunity is there for it as a business. And we're looking forward to exploring all avenues.
Michelle, how do you regulate this? Because I mean, me and money. I tried doing something similar on the side, but what are the requirements? What do I need to do to make sure that I don't find myself at the wrong side of the law?
Right. So like any authority, there are licenses, permits, accreditations that we give out to filmmakers or every type of filmmaker across the value chain. Depending on what type of filmmaker you want to be, if you want to be an exhibitor like Albert, there are some fees and charges that are there that you need to pay, or you have to inquire about, and then you have to pay for them. These things are very easy to access. You can go to our website, www.nfa.gov.gh. You get all this information there. Or you can send a simple email to our email, info@nfa.gov.gh. And someone will respond to you, give the information you need, the right personnel will assist you. And as a filmmaker, producer, whoever you are, there are fixers, and there are type of filmmakers that are fixers. They help other filmmakers get whatever personnel or equipment they need.
Okay.
So there's people that bring in foreign filmmakers into the country. When it comes to foreign filmmakers, they need permits. Local filmmakers need license.
License, okay.
So if you have someone bringing, or you're bringing a foreign filmmaker in there, you reach out to the NFA, you access your permits for the person.
Okay.
You go, you the filmmaker, you get your license so that you can operate freely.
Okay.
Even as an exhibitor, not even the place, the person, the place, you need a license to be able to exhibit films or anything audiovisual, actually.
Okay.
So you reach out to the NFA and they'll assist you. These things are very accessible, and it's in the law. The law too is very accessible. Even you Google it, you can get it.
All right. So Albert, I mentioned earlier that me and money. I can just imagine other young people they're trying to start something on their own. Ghana we are not as huge as Nigeria, but you can't serve all the 30+ million people in Ghana. What will it take someone who is looking at starting something like what you're doing to get into the space?
This space in particular?
Yeah.
Shall you prepare yourself? It's not the easiest space to get. It's very niche.
Okay.
You obviously have to have a passion for some sort of production, either videography, film. You have to have an interest in it. Otherwise, it's very easy to fail. Building connections, right? When we found out about the NFA, we quickly made friends. Like Michelle right now, like she's like my best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's really important. Once you build the relationships, it's easy to know your way around and navigate the industry. The key stakeholders as well, aside the authoritative body, the filmmakers, the people on the ground, the cast, crew, producers, directors, the people who actually will bring you the business.
Okay.
Yes. And so what we did that was creative enough was we became like a B2B, right? We started to engage more businesses in terms of, we can't do it all alone. So if you have a business, especially with the hotels, let's partner up. Let's see how best we can do this together. Draw people in to have access to your facilities, but also have access to the films as well. And in that way, not only are you creating an opportunity for the hotels, you're creating an opportunity for the filmmakers, directors, producers as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. Because even when talking about doing events outside of Accra, there's the scouting, there's figuring out who to talk to, there's travel, a whole lot of traveling as well. So Charlie's a lot. If you don't have the passion for it, it's easy for you to give up. But trust me, it's a gold mine once you're fully involved in it. So yeah.
All right. Michelle.
Yeah.
So how are you helping people like Albert and me who probably will come into the space improve what we do and be sure that we benefit, the filmmaker is benefiting, and then the NFA is also ensuring that everybody who is in the space is doing what it is expected of them?
Right. So for myself as a business developer, it's my role to bridge the gap between corporate Ghana and the film industry. So I would look out for opportunities for Albert, look out for opportunities for you, filmmakers, or create them as the authority through the events that we do. For example, the Ghana Cinema Week that I spoke about, that's one of the opportunities we tend to create for filmmakers. And also master classes help you. So for you that lack of better word, you're a layman coming in. These are the master classes you come for, or workshops you come for, seminars you come for, that will help you understand the space, help you know exactly what you want to do, because it's a very vast land. You can go in and get it wrong.
Okay.
You think that, it's just production, or it's just this, but there are several aspects in it. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to do film. You can be a lawyer and be thriving there. You can be a humanitarian and thriving there. You can be a busboy. You can be a hotel, a concierge, whatever it is. And then the value chain will get to you. Because when you look at film production, an entire film production process, you have people that need to read through your script and make sure that it is legally accepted. It goes with the law and whatnot. You need people that will build the tables, the chairs, the sets. Those are carpenters. You need people to give you dress, film. Those are the fashion designers. You need people to do the makeup. Those are makeup people. Like it's a varied space. You don't necessarily have to be a filmmaker to directly benefit from being in the film space. So looking for these opportunities, reading on them, speaking to the right people, like Albert said. I can help Albert by pointing him in the direction of, this hotel is looking for so and so, because we did an event there, because I had an engagement with this person, or this organization, or this corporate organization. So I'm able to direct him into the right path or right direction to go.
Before we started the conversation, I asked whether people were still producing films in Ghana. You mentioned that people are doing amazing stuff. How do you source these movies for exhibition, or at your different venues? How do you get these things done?
Strategizing. So we are major partners for some of the film festivals in Ghana. So we use that as an opportunity to help push those films as well. We create our own events. So we have a community cinema called the Bureau Community Cinema, where we curate some of these short films, categorize them by topic. So let's say mental health, social justice, all that. And then we curate the films to fit those topics, exhibit them to the public, and have meaningful conversations around them. We're constantly trying to find opportunities and create events that push these films to the public.
So in terms of demand, how has it been since your first exhibition and now that you are here?
There is definitely a demand for more cinema-related events. For the better part of the last 3 years, we've been working closely with Movenpick Hotel. This year, we've expanded to 2 other hotels. The feedback is great. People keep coming. So that tells us that people want to be a part of something like that. Before I took over, before we created the company, there was a concern as to whether cinema is dead or not. But especially during COVID, right? But even during COVID, thought us that's not the case, because in COVID we created with the help of our partners at Hype Up, we created the drive-in cinemas, right? That was like a huge success, and then we've built on that over the years. And so we know that we're very, very aware that there's a demand.
Talking about drive-in cinemas, what other strategies are you using? Because the drive-in it really went viral. A lot of people spoke about it.
Shouts to Ike.
Everybody wanted to be there. What other strategies are you putting in place? And for you, Michelle, how are you also supporting some of these strategies?
So again, the advantage we have is our equipment. Because we're able to move them anywhere in the country, we're able to find some of the most interesting locations to put the screens. I think that's what drives people in. So we've done stuff at beaches, we've done open air parks. We're looking to do like a rooftop event soon. And then when we go to the rural areas, we're even trying to figure out how best to get it into some of the castles. Like imagine like an amazing cinema event in Christianborg Castle or something, right? So we're just trying to be as creative as possible to just keep it, try not to keep it boring. right? So, and also we're trying to be able to create the right experiences for people.
Okay.
Yeah. So the experiences, the movie brings you in, the experience makes you stay. Yeah.
So for us in the authority, my department, for instance, what we try to do is keep an open mind as much as possible, be forward thinking and very modern, because times are changing, as he said. Now you don't only have the traditional cinema, you have the unconventional ones, like his business, and he's partnering with other people doing the park and watch and other types of cinema experiences that year. So we give a varied array of opportunities for these people. Another thing we do, strategies we put in place, is try to connect them to the right partners, because we have the data for who is in this space. So if you walk to the NFA, or you call the NFA or reach out to the NFA and say, this and this is what you do, like he does sometimes every now and then, we're able to tell you that this person is now in the space, these people are now in the space, these are the people that you can connect to. In the corporate Ghana, so and so and so people are very much interested in the entertainment space or the film space, so you can speak to them, or we even start the conversation for you, and then we'll help you carry it further.
Okay.
There are people like producers, directors that are making amazing things that we can connect these two, help them bridge the gap, help them showcase their films, so that he also does not suffer and have to do a lot of the hard work. We help them, because what we do is we have a data of classified movies. Once you make your film, you're supposed to bring it to the NFA to classify it. It's not necessarily to show that you don't go on TV, you don't show, but to rate them, make it approved, and show which age brackets can watch these films. And then we have the inventory of that. We can go into that, help these people, showcase, give them other opportunities and access to other exhibitors, distributors, so on and so forth, and then help them. There was one time where we distributed 3 Ghanaian films to the Meta region, and that's one of the opportunities we gave to filmmakers.
All right. When it comes to cinemas, it looks like everything is in Accra. If you're lucky, maybe a few in Kumasi, and maybe Takrade, Tamale, none that I know. This means that for you as an exhibitor, you can be anywhere, and then make a lot of money. How?
I like how you added they make a lot of money at the end.
No, business, if they're not making money, who wants to do business as they're making money? But how do other people come in? Usually, when I have conversations, I want to take out government, because we actually don't have any control over that. I don't like having conversations that says, well, government has to do this. No. How do we take advantage of the fact that there are other areas where there are no cinemas, or government policy isn't directed towards providing such spaces now, that you can make money? Because once the cinemas come, you lose a window of opportunity where you can make your money. So how do young people take advantage of this?
Well, I can't speak for other young people. I can speak for myself. Again, for me, the foundation was the interest. Secondly was me trying to meet a demand or trying to solve a problem. I do a lot of traveling out of Accra. And the one thing you notice is people are very removed from like what's happening in Accra. Nobody cares about the next Marvel film in some village in the eastern region. But if you were to show them a film that touched on their lives, where they could see themselves, that's where the impact comes in. And for us, we're aside the entertainment part, we're also looking for impact, right? How do we make film relevant to people, and how do we get the funding to make that happen? So for us, we're just looking out for ourselves, 1. 2, we're looking to be able to scale and grow the company to where we're able to be in every part of the country, including the parts that can't afford film, and get people to help fund those regions, right? So there's a non-profit aspect of what we're trying to do as well. Yes. When I say non-profit, not that we're not making money, but we're getting the funding. We're getting the funding to be able to support those projects.
All right. Now that you mentioned money, but on a how much would I need to go into the space on just low key? How much would someone need to go into the space?
It depends on the quality of equipment you want to get. Right, there are different prices from different parts of the world.
Sure.
Yeah, so it depends on your budget. I don't want to throw a figure out there to discourage anyone, but
no, I don't
do your research. Do your research and figure that out for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, I have to stress that it comes down to the interest, because if you go spend 100K, 200K on equipment and you don't know what to do with it, then it becomes a waste. I'll find you and buy the equipment from you.
Okay.
But yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah.
In terms of preferences, we have the Kumawood type of movies. I don't know whether it falls under what you do, and then the Shirleys and all the names, the big names that we know. How is it location specific? Like what people are looking for? You think that Ghanaians in general are just looking for good movies, or language tends to play a role in how a movie does well?
I think that Ghanaians in general are looking for a very good film. It can be from Kumawood, as you call it. It can be from the north, because I've seen very good films from the north.
Okay.
I've seen some very good films from the Volta region. So it's not location specific.
Okay.
It's, I think, based on your technique, skill, technical know-how, all of that, and how well you have invested in your film. Not just equipment, not just personnel, but knowledge. Because you can have someone using a very good CGI in his movie, and the person is from the northern region.
Okay.
So it's really based on the filmmaker. So really, we are trying to bridge that gap with people. For the authority, we cannot be biased.
Yeah.
You cannot say that, oh, this movie is not good. That is why we are creating avenues for them to change or to improve themselves. Yes.
Yeah, can I comment on
sure,
that?
Yeah.
I think Africans in general are looking for films that talk about them. Mm-hmm. I think we've gotten to a point in the industry where we're tired of seeing too many Western films. Mm-hmm. And not enough African films, like genuine African films. I'll give you an example. I'm reading a book right now, Anansi's Gold, the story of John Akable Mieza, right? And when you read the story, it's typically Ghanaian, like young guy from some village in the western region, finds his way to Takoradi, comes to Accra, finds opportunity, gets an idea, goes outside, like the typical Nkrumah story as well. Village boy comes to Accra, next thing you know, he's saving the world, right? And there are so many stories like that. Like this, when I speak to filmmakers at least like every week, and the stories that come up, even the true ones, the fictional ones, all talking about like our experiences here in Ghana and Africa. And I think that's what we want to see. The unfortunate thing right now is that a lot of, in my opinion, my personal opinion, is that a lot of the production houses right now are not telling those stories. They're telling the, again, is my opinion, they're telling the Western stories from an African perspective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a huge disconnect, right? My like, how many people live in mansions, drive Bentleys? Those are not the stories that. It's very unrelatable.
I would beg to differ, because I'm from the authority side, and I've seen a lot more.
Okay.
So I can say that it's not always the case. There are people that are doing that, and there are people that are also telling the stories or trying to tell the stories that's the African story. Also, I don't think it's an African thing. I think it's a black thing, because you find people in the diaspora, the black Americans, talking about their kids want to see things of their color, even down to animation. And we have some animators in Ghana doing amazing jobs when it comes to that.
Shout out Jesse Mills.
Yes. There's that person he's talking about, Jesse Sunkwa Mills, Mills Media. And he brought out the Asantua. Amazing graphics. For someone that you would think that, in Ghana, we don't have that. But there are people that are doing amazing things here. He released a movie, a series in December, and he, once again, wiped out the entire cinema space. he filled it and over. So really, what are you looking for, and how are you looking for them? There are places, avenues, and I don't think the internet is feeding us enough for these things. Because even if you look at the data from our side, there are people doing or telling the Ghanaian story that you can easily find.
All right. So let's now go to the challenges. I mean, for you as someone at the authorities side, and then you who is an entrepreneur in the space working with the authority, what are some of the challenges that you've had to deal with? I mean, traveling from here to go and do an exhibition in Tamale, if you're not flying, that's like 12 hours. If you're flying, that's some money you have to cough out. Yeah.
True.
What are the challenges?
Funding. I mean, you just said it's. Yeah. We've been trying to do something in Tamale for a while, but funding has always been the biggest issue. Aside that, maybe it's just me. I guess I know how to create opportunity, so I might be different from a lot of people, but for being able to take the film to people in rural areas, it usually always comes down to funding.
Yeah.
So that's why we were kind of trying to create the non-profit side of the company, and that's also why we are working on creating the Africa Arts Development Fund to be able to be like a pool of funds and opportunities that would be able to help facilitate these kind of things.
All right, Michelle.
I think from the authority side, we also suffer with funding. Because these things are not cheap to do. These opportunities, creating them, making them available, require a lot of money. For instance, if you want to do something like the African Cinema Summit I spoke about, you need a big hotel space. Even if you are going to do it at a conference center, you have to pay for it. And they are not cheap. So funding, and I'll also say government processes, because we are not necessarily a typical space to be fitted into the government process. So it makes things lengthy. It takes a long time for things to come out. For instance, an example I can give is one of the policies we are trying to put out, the tax incentive policy, that's going to not just benefit us locally but internationally. The government process has lengthened it, because they have to go to cabinets, go to here before it's passed. And these things cripple our activities and the things we need to do. And some other challenge we face is personnel, or even getting people to collaborate with the National Film Authority. In the space, I realized that a lot of corporate Ghana do not understand entertainment and the benefits, or direct or indirect benefit they can get from it. There's a lot of investment in that space, but of which I unfortunately I have to say that Nigerians are way ahead of us when it comes to that space. So having them to get to that kind of level of understanding, and then having to invest in these filmmakers and these spaces, is taking a lot of time, a lot of convincing, because sometimes they don't understand that there's business in it. When you understand the business of film, you can do anything you want to do in the film industry.
You know, while I was running the restaurant in Adrenga, there was a movie, I don't know if it was a multi-choice movie, that used a restaurant for a particular scene. And when a guy came in and spoke to me, it was just like, we want to use your space. We are not going to pay you for it. But imagine your space being on everybody's screen. Anytime anybody turns on your screen to watch this movie, that's your space in there.
The whole exposure.
That's exposure, yes. So for me, I got it. We are in Ghana and someone is shooting a movie. They all want to show that they are using the best phones. Nobody's paying them to use that phone. Yeah. Nobody's paying for it. You're watching a movie that is made in the US, and everybody's using a particular brand of laptop. If they're going to drink and they're using a particular drink that is paying them to even produce a movie. Yeah. And I asked myself whether it's because the producer don't know that they can do this, or they don't have the numbers to show, they don't have the data to show, or corporate Ghana is not just ready to invest in somebody, and they just want the usual, pick somebody, do an ad, put it on TV, and others. So what's the challenge?
I think the challenge is understanding and knowledge. When it comes to knowledge, shortcoming from both sides. When it comes to corporate Ghana, like I said, they probably do not understand the kind of investment that lies in the film industry. When it comes to filmmakers, they probably are not fully invested or they don't fully understand the business of film. Because I believe that if you do understand the business of film, it starts right from your idea stage, then to your script writing. You can open a lot of opportunities for yourself once you are able to understand business of film and start from the very beginning. You are able to make money for yourself even beyond 50 years, because across the value chain of filmmaking, there are lots of opportunities that can generate money for one film. So a typical example I always use, a Western example, is the James Bond movie. James Bond is a perfect example when it comes to brand placement. His car he uses is Aston Martin, and it's throughout the movie. And there are ways to position that to sell it. I don't think that I would have known too much of Aston Martin if I didn't watch a James Bond movie. Yeah. The watch that James Bond wears, even his drink, his shoes. When it comes to Africa, an example I always use is Nigeria. There are several YouTube channels that are owned by banks. Yeah. There's Indani TV that's owned by GT Bank. There's Red TV that's owned by UBA. And if you look at the series and films that they show there, they are heavy. The ads there are very heavy. You don't necessarily have to shoot a scene in the bank, but it's talking about the bank. It's talking about products from the bank. And it can be very subtle.
One line.
It can be very, very subtle. It can be very loud, depending on how you want it. So basically, understand the business of film, both from corporates and then as a filmmaker, and then you're able to place yourself everywhere.
I love it.
I actually have a question.
Sure.
For Michelle.
No,
so these banks, GT, UBA, are here as well. What's stopping them from doing the same thing here?
I think that, in my perspective, I think that it comes down to Ghanaian workers working there.
Okay.
You have managers there that are Ghanaians, and maybe the head or Akpatakpata is just a Nigerian. Okay. So that understanding is not easily translated into those banks. So it's still the same problem of they don't understand that there are these opportunities in that space.
Yeah. I think that we don't produce, I wouldn't say just quality, the number of movies that have to come out if you want to keep your YouTube channel running. If you have to invest in it.
Yeah.
True.
Are the banks willing to put that kind of money in Ghana or in a Ghanaian filmmaker? Yeah. Will the Ghanaian filmmaker deliver? Do they have the numbers that will watch and bring in the kind of money that they are? So you probably will pay for the production, the views will pay for itself, the ads pay for itself. But do we have that?
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet? That's
so and so. Because I know two banks that are doing that in Ghana.
Okay.
UBA, they have the Red TV Ghana that is doing that. They are also showing films or series on their YouTube pages, just like Nigeria. We have Access Bank, that is All Walks of Life. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Okay.
They are also doing that. So it's understanding and how best you can make do with the space. Also, as you said, how willing are you to invest into that space? If you look at Nigeria, they don't just, when they come, I don't think the banks alone invest in it. There are individuals that invest in it. Yeah. And this probably is a call to individuals that have the means to invest in the film industry or the film space. Invest in it. Put your money inside there. The return on investment is very huge. Once you are able to understand and then translate, you just get your money back and even more.
All right.
Do you think quality has something to do with why it's not on a larger scale as well?
So and so, once again.
Yeah.
So and so, because there are people out there that are doing the quality ones. Maybe the ones we know, like Shelley Frimpong, so Ivan Kwashiga, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They are doing quality, and then they are also able to get investments, and people are able to get their returns on the investment. I think there are some individuals out there that are also doing very excellent for themselves, and their works are even telling for them.
You're right.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that, though.
That's why.
No, that's okay. So, I said earlier that I wouldn't want to talk about the whole government bit, but this is a sector that we can't leave government out. What do you think should be done to National Theatre was built by Rollins, right?
Yeah.
We don't have anything close to that. Even private sector, nobody will invest that kind of money in. Yeah. So what do you expect? I mean, what are your expectations? Or if anybody's listening in government?
Now that's very hard for me to say because I'm also government.
No, I know.
But then I think that for the government side, I think collaboration is very key. A lot of these other government agencies can collaborate with the National Film Authority. The agencies, authorities can collaborate, and then we'll make it worth anyone's while. Apart from that, I think that also privates should tap into this space. If you rely too much on government, we might be very handicapped.
Yeah, that's true.
So we should go with privates.
Private sector.
Private sector should also reach in and fetch what they can and help.
Oh, wait.
I have a lot to say, but let me just narrow it down to this. We need an intentional government when it comes to film, in a sense that, so we deal with pushing the film to the audience, but our biggest concern is always, what are we telling the people? What stories are we pushing to them? What are they picking from it? So I think government's position should be from a place of intentionality. What kind of projects or what kind of building blocks are we laying to allow for good quality, great stories that affect the lives of people, or that would affect the lives of people in the long run? Right, like I said, the Western world, especially the US, there are films that were done decades ago that they still stand on today as being the building blocks for their society. Right, we need that as well right now. We don't have people would argue that we don't have an identity because we don't have anything we're telling the world of who we are. So that's what I feel like government and obviously the private sector as well definitely needs to tap into.
All right.
Creating intentional stories and then figuring out how we can tell those stories to people.
Just looking at how we can use movies to sell the brand Ghana. I mean, from our kente to our meals to everything that you'd want to see when you're coming to Ghana. And you ask us, aside short videos of Nkrumah flying on the internet, there's no movie telling a story of Nkrumah.
Yeah.
No movie telling how we got into the Fourth Republic. No movie talking about Rollins. No movie. Most of the things that we know, maybe short stories of the people, short movie videos of them circulating on the internet. So you ask yourself whether we are intentional or we actually whether we want to sell our brand or we are just okay doing Dirty December.
Charlie, see, make a bust your mind. I get excited when it comes to like stories, right? I recently read a story about Susudis. When I was younger, I used to hear my parents talk about Susudis like all the time. And I read a story recently about, and I don't know if it's true, but I mean, if there's any producer out there who wants to jump on it, they should. Apparently, this guy was so he was in Rawlings's government. I think it was like Minister of Defense or something. I could be wrong, but he was deep inside Rawlings's government, and he was dating like an attaché from the U.S. Embassy. Turns out this woman was like a CIA secret agent sent to spy on Ghana, and this guy go run the girl running mind, and was rather collecting data from her on the CIA's intentions on Ghana, and was just spoiling their plans. Like that's grade one movie material, like right there. Like Wallace's life alone is like
will sell Ghana. Yeah.
I mean, you can look at it in different. There's a history part.
Yeah.
There's the current Ghana part. There are different aspects that filmmakers can tap into. And if you look at, we probably don't know even half of what the Nigerian film industry is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of what we see, especially in Ghana, is not even on their history. But we are clearly able to tell
these are Nigerians.
This is what they are doing, this so and so and so. We can do the same thing, or we can carve what will work best for us. What does our kente look like? Ghanaians are known for kente, but there are different types of kente that you can showcase in your films. The key thing is research. Like I've been saying, the key thing is research. If you want to even do a modern day Ghanaian film, you have to research on what is currently trending even in Ghana, or look at what is relevant. How best can you infuse the past and the new and make it presentable? So you heavy on research.
I do behavior change mainly using community radio, and most often we are writing scripts for maybe maximum 1 minute, where you have characters playing different roles that we believe will change behavior in our communities. And it's the same way. So I say that radio is powerful. You give me radio, I can use it for finance, for agri, for gender, for anything. The same way movies can be used for anything. When you spoke about the movie you watched that changed your life, that you wanted to be a lawyer. There are movies you watch that they stay in your mind for forever. Yeah. Sometimes they actually determine what you even do, especially when the research is done and it's done properly. So when you mention research, you're watching a foreign movie. They are giving you a medication for a particular sickness. That is the actual medication they are giving you. Yeah. For us, let's not go.
With that, I always say that not some movies stay in your mind forever. Every movie stays in your mind forever. The brain has a way of segregating what's and what. But if you realize, you remember, oh my God, I've watched this, and it's in your subconscious. You forgot all about it, but it's there. So, as Albert said, the narrative about America or the American dream is what they put out in their films for us. What we know now as adults, or how we are now, has been shaped by the movies we've seen.
We were socialized.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. The three of us sitting here, were born in the era of television. So whether it's black and white, colored, internet, whatever, we have seen or watched something, cartoons, film, whatever, for us to have the kind of knowledge we have now. Even now, when you come to the preschool, they're even using films, whatever, interactive means of medium to teach them so and so. You find a child that has never stepped foot in the airport but has a heavy accent.
I know, right?
And this is what film is doing. Yeah. Film isn't just entertainment. Film is educational. Film is interactive. Film is everything you want film to be. So it's really what you are putting out there that's going to tell what the next person watching it is going to be. And film is not even like, it's different from radio. I always say that film is more powerful than radio because film engages two senses, your eyes and your ears. Radio is just your ears. So once you are seeing this, you are seeing it, like I always ask, how do we know the color orange is orange? Because we saw it and we're told. So you are seeing this, you are saying this is it. You don't know it from Adam. Now your mind picks it and says that is it. So that's how powerful film is. And that's why we also have to be very careful as Ghanaians to be able to shape or tell whatever story we want to put out there, like the Americans have.
Yeah, and it's like what I was saying with the Nazis. You'd wonder, like, how did so many like Germans believe, or not even Germans, how did so many Europeans believe Hitler and rally behind him? And it's because they actually use film as a huge propaganda method. Yeah. So that's how powerful film is.
Yeah.
So it's been a great conversation. Yeah. I mean, the radio part, good radio behaves like TV.
I can beg to differ, but yeah.
Good radio, a good radio program produced properly, makes you feel as though you are seeing whatever you are hearing. That's
I mean, I can beg to differ because not everybody has a creative imagination. So not everybody's able to picture exactly what they're hearing. But when it comes to film, you don't need them. You just see it and that's it. Exactly. You just see it and that's it. How do we know the sound of gun? We've never seen a gun before. We saw it on TV. It was shaped this way, and the sound followed. So now when you listen to radio and hear that sound, you know, oh my God, this particular gun was shot. But you've never played with guns before.
We'll continue that conversation. I mean, one thing I know for sure is you'll find me in your space.
Nice.
That I'm sure about. And I must say that's been an interesting conversation. For me, that sounds like what you're doing is a huge opportunity there for people to collaborate. I'm saying you find me in your space because I could be selling food, I could be showing the movie myself, I could be the one having a space inviting you to come and show the movie as well. So you can, and these are opportunities that are there for young people because job no day. So if there's anything that you can do, make sure that you go to the NFA. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. Don't gather people somewhere, carry someone's movie, show, and it becomes an issue for you. So if you think that is an opportunity, I think go to the NFA.
www.nfa.gov.gh.
All right. Albert, your last words.
Let me quickly talk about the Africa Arts Development Fund.
All right.
Like you said, job no day. And we worked with enough creatives to know that there are like a lot of ideas out there. What they pain be if you spent a lot of time and energy on an idea, you've imagined it so many times being a success, and Charlie, 10 years down the line, the idea is still in your notebook, right? So we're working with some amazing people to create this fund that would open up opportunities, not just funding. We're looking at being able to fund certain projects, but also be able to use the human resource we have and the network we have to open up opportunities for artists, not just in film. It could be performing arts, visual arts, music, all the art faculties, and being able to open the doors and allowing them to succeed. So we're launching in a few months, but if you're interested, wherever you are, whoever you are, if you're interested in being a part of it, be it contributing to it or being a part of the team, just visit our website, www.africaartsdevelopmentfund.org, and sign up.
My last words will be that as he has made an opportunity for this fund, there are a lot more out there. There are people that are interested in the film industry but don't know what to do. As you said, visit the NFA's website. Secondly, research. The internet is there for that purpose. So once you're able to research, you can know that in your own small way you can help, or you can even join the industry. You don't necessarily have to be an actor, a director, a producer, or those directly involved. You can have a space, like you said, either for exhibition or shooting. You can have some equipment. You didn't intend it for that, but then it can help. So you go out there and then you realize you help a lot more people than you even intended to. So research.
My last word. We like partnerships at Cinema 57. So if you have a space, you want to put together any kind of event that's related to cinema, if you want to get in the cinema space but don't know how to, just reach out.
All right.
And make sure you're not caught by the law.
Sure, I like that part. So the team here and some other artists are doing something amazing with visual art students in secondary schools.
Okay.
Provide them with materials to produce their works, and we run an exhibition. When we got in touch with Halakasa, they want us to introduce performing arts to it. So it's something that I'm sure that will reach out to you.
Definitely.
We'll invite you to our first exhibition.
We're there for you, Charlie.
Thank you all for coming.
You're welcome.
See you next year.
Sure.
Vim.